Hi, my name is Jeremy Bowen. I'm CEO of Cirium. Cirium provide data and analytics to the aviation industry and travel industry to help organizations make better and faster decisions to drive efficiency and profitability across the industry. Well, it's interesting, we take data into our platform from all sorts of sources. We're taking schedules of data, we're taking fleet, we're taking the locations of aircraft, their status about reaching their time, the fares of the data and the traffic. We put all that data in together. We put machine learning, data science and AI over the top. And on the back of it, we're able to create very powerful analytics where 1 + 1 + 1 = 5. Those analytics are now going back out across the industry. And that's where we're helping the organizations to drive efficiencies, to make savings, to make a better plan with all more information they have. It depends. We do a little bit of analysis. That's more on our Ascend consultancy side. That's very much looking at the valuations of the commercial and the business jet and the helicopter fleet. We do predictions of what we think will happen into the future and what those lease rates will look like and those sale rates will look like. The rest of the data, we provide an analytic. So when we've taken that data together, we give that insight. And as opposed to actually telling someone what's going to happen, more importantly, we're now embedding that deeper into the workflow. So within an airline or an airport, they don't have to do the analysis themselves. We've done it. It's embedded within their workflow for them to make that decision of what they want to do with that data. Sure. Well, I think from a trend perspective, we have to look at pre-pandemic. And the previous highs pre-pandemic were July 2019. Now that we're post-pandemic, the volume of passengers came back in 2023. The price they were paying, so the revenues came back for the industry in 2023. The volume of flights didn't come back. That's due to happen now in July 2024, which is great, which means we've got the number of passengers back, the revenues being generated, and now the flights coming back. That's great news for the industry. The challenge, though, is at the same time as those flights coming back, we're about to surpass the number of CO2 emissions. The previous highest was July 2019. That's now about to be topped in July 2024. So in July 2024, 74 million tons of cargo will be emitted by aviation. Previous high was 73 million tons. And that's a lot to do with what's happening with the fleet. It's a lot to do with the volume of flights. And also it's a lot to do with the number of commercial jets that we now have. So to really boiling it down, even though that CO2 emissions are going up, positive is that the amount of carbon per kilometre has come down by 3.9%. A lot of hard work in the industry of renewing fleets, having more fuel efficient aircraft, retiring lots of the old fleets. That's good news. But as we know, we've had production issues, we've had groundings, we've had maintenance, we've had safety issues, which has meant some of those newer jets have been grounded for periods of time. Ultimately, if that hadn't happened, we'd be a lot better than 3.9, but we're making progress. Absolutely. So we've been doing this for the last couple of years. We've launched our Emerald Sky methodology, which has gone out to everyone in the industry. And we think that's the most precise, given the most integrity of any baseline that everyone needs to know. The reason why it's so accurate is that we know how every aircraft has flown. We know how long it's taxied, how long it's taken off, how long it's stacked, when it landed back. And so it's based on the actual time the engines were running in the air. And it's also based on knowing every commercial aircraft's configuration. So an A320 for British Airways is very different to an A320 for another airline in terms of the seat density. How many business class seats, how many economy seats. Once you know that, you also know the age of the engines, the degradation, the winglets, all that stuff. Once you know that, you can very accurately produce a model that says, I know if this aircraft is flying and this seat versus another aircraft with another airline and a different seat, there'll be a difference in carbon emissions being thrown off. That's what Emerald Sky does. And one of the big things that's happening in the industry now is we know that as we need to decarbonise by 2050, the old models that have been around for the last couple of years are based on distance to A to B and using every aircraft cohort as the same. It's not accurate and it doesn't work. Now that people are going to have to pay to offset their carbon, now that people are demanding to travel more efficiently, we have to have an accurate baseline of which airline is and which airline is. That's what we're doing at Cirium with Emerald Sky. Yeah, I think if you talk to every airline CEO, they would love to have more modern aircraft on their fleet and they want them yesterday. So everyone that's planned them in their schedules are now having to fly their older aircraft. They'd probably hope to retire or pass on. So that's obviously driving a more or running a more unfuel efficient fleet. everybody wants new aircraft. The backlogs are causing issues. So what it's meant is those older aircraft are having to be flown for more often. We've seen the lease rates on older aircraft highest than they've been for many, many, many years. There's not enough aircraft around. That supply chain issue of getting new aircraft and also the grounding of some of the more modern aircraft for fan issues and for safety checks is having an impact on the industry.